Hi everyone, this is just a simple video that I will be sharing because it's December and the year is about to end, so we are about to say hi to a new year. And personally, every year I have new planners for me to use throughout the year. So since it's end of the year time, it's high time to say goodbye to my old planner and wait for a new one. Now let me show you my planner this year, 2025, this one. I've been using this the whole year and it has been very helpful to me in my career. Now I'm going to share to you why planner has been very helpful to me in my career. I think I've been using planner since maybe 2015, and the sizes of the planner that I have used has evolved. Before, they used to be this tiny and thinner, but later on, it became larger and thicker, like this one. Because I think the kind of the work that I have also affected my preference in choosing planners. I wanted planners to be big and thick so that I can really write important notes that would help me in the future. So throughout the year, I've used this planner and I'm about to say goodbye to this because, of course, I have to say I have to say hi to a new one rather. Okay, so let's take a look at my planner for 2025. This is how it looks like right now. So if you notice, it's a bit distorted with pieces of papers inserted in it, and it's not anymore in good shape. This one, it's not anymore in good shape as it was when it was newly bought, because I use this every day. I bring it every time I go to work or even I go to travel. I'm always bringing this, and this has also served as my reference. For example, if I have invitations from meetings or events, I would first consult my planner if that particular date and time is vacant, meaning to say I can say yes to that invitation. However, if I have already written something on that particular date, that means to say I cannot anymore say yes to that event or invitation. All right. Now, for this planner, what attracted me most when I bought this was the color. So if you look at the color, it's orange and brown. I cannot really say the exact shade of this one, but I just would say probably it's a mixture of orange and brown. And I find it neutral. So neutral really attracts me. Neutral colors attract me. I think that if I use a neutral color for planner, that would not really distract my colleagues at the meetings. I was thinking about that when I was buying this one. Also, I was thinking of the durability. I would want the planner to be durable, to last for the whole 12 months of the whole year, because I'm anticipating that I have events every month. So the second one that attracted me is the texture. So look at the texture, it's not glossy, and I think it doesn't really attract much dirt, or if it attracts much dirt, it's not really that obvious. So it doesn't look so disgusting at the first look, right? So it appears to be still clean and polished. Next is its design. So the design really attracted me. The cover, I find the cover so unique. This one, it has a pocket here in which you can pull out, and there are places for cards here, there. So you can insert it back, And then there's also this design here, and there's this portion for the pen, that one. Now, for the content, for the design of the content, if you would look at it, it has this one. It has the sides are intended for each month. For example, there's January, February, March, April. And then in each month, there is this table here. For example, January. And at the end of the table, there's a quotation. For example, here in January, it says, every day, there are 1,440 minutes. That means we have 1,440 daily opportunities to make a positive impact. And in the next quotation, it says, those who surrender freedom for security will not have, nor do they deserve either one. So, with just quotations, I find it so attractive already because somehow it gives me positive attitude. It gives me motivation that each time I read the pages where there are quotations, somehow it allows me to keep moving forward or to keep the positivity around me. There. Now, let's see. So, from the pages here, I have so many inserted pieces of papers. I usually have these things. I always write things. You know, as an individual, I'm a forgetful person. And aside from that, I think that I'm becoming more forgetful is because I have so many things that I need to remember. I have so many responsibilities and obligations, both at work and personal. Therefore, I have to remember all of these things, or else I will lose the battle. So these pieces of papers are actually passwords of different accounts. There are also numbers here, specifically on finances, like my payslips. I keep my payslips for record, such as this one. There. So, finances. And then, in my other pockets here, I have my pictures for PDS. And there's a funny story behind this, why I have so many pictures here. Because we always comply a certain form at work. And I find it a little bit difficult from my end to keep on producing pictures or to keep on going to the studio for picture, for ID, to comply the form. So what I did, when I took the picture, I printed so many of it. That's why I have a lot of pictures here, so that the next time I comply with that form, I already have a stock of pictures. There you go. So those are the inserted slips here. I was trying to track down my finances, the expenses, and all of the financial obligations that I have. Next, when you open it, there is an inserted piece of paper again, and this one is a program. The last event that we had last month, we had an activity, and I have so many programs in my collections because I host a lot in my workplace. So that tells you why I have so many programs. I base my scripts on the flow of the events on the program. I need to write the correct names of the invited guests. I have to draft how I would say when I will be hosting the event. So Now this one, since it's recent, I placed it here so that I cannot forget because I always bring my planner. Now for the first page, my sons were able to find my planner and they happened to make random marks in it, in which I cannot do anything about it. So let us review how busy I was this year. And when it comes to the term busy, I really am a busy person. There. So in January, I had these events like exams. I was also invited as a research speaker, and I was a proctor at the exam. Oh, and January 2, I said my sons and I went to town. I bought them toys worth of, I placed there my expenses. I then bought myself a blank. So I write things like this in my planners just to remember, or sometimes I would go back and say, what did I do there, or how was it spent? So if you would go pages by pages in my planner, there's so many write-ups. There. I have here online activity for the classes, subject 1, 10:30 to 11:30 attendance, 1 to 2 p.m. Then room examiner meeting, dress code. See, this one is has so many writings. And for February, there, I have also written there. So these are the events that I have to remember during the February. So the quotation here is, when you are enthusiastic about what you do, you feel this positive energy. It's very simple. You always get what you unconsciously believe and expect. See, the quotation is very powerful. And then for March, I have also indicated important dates. The quotation here is, the difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is that a little extra. What does it mean? I like that quotation. So it defines being ordinary and extraordinary. So it's like if there are two people, both of them are ordinary, but the other one is extraordinary. And what makes that extraordinary person extra is the little extra, meaning he could be doing more. He could be depriving himself more of the sleep, of the rest, of the food or social life just to become extraordinary. And that's what I have been trying to do every single day of this year. I was always trying to be a little extraordinary. So I have to cut some of the pleasures in life, like social life. I don't really go that much. I always spend time alone or with my kids, or have extra overtime at work. And then for April, there we go, April. Oh, April, that was my 32nd birthday. I have also written here some of the list of the names of my students when I did the groupings, because sometimes when students would come to me for consultation, sometimes the easiest to access among my things is my planner. So it's the planner that also serves as my notes. I also have written here April, deadline submission of slides for a conference. And for the April quotation, it says here, virtually nothing is more important in this world if you just put your mind to it and maintain a positive attitude. Greatness begins beyond your comfort zone. I like it. Greatness begins beyond your comfort zone. Now, I can also attest to that because this year I was really, it was a mix of by force and by choice that I was out of my comfort zone. And I believe it is something greater. I believe that the chaos, all of the chaos that I felt, all of the discomfort that I felt were all for my growth, whether professionally and individually. So still, I'm thankful for that. Now let's proceed to, I also have written here, 7 to 8 p.m. webinar about a certain webinar. Then there's meetings. We have countless meetings at work. So I really have to remember those dates. I'm not good with alarm clock, so planner is more effective. And then for me, I also have here. So for the quotation in May, remember the struggle or hardships you are in today is developing the strength you need tomorrow. That is exactly true. It was really manifested for me personally this year. A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. Imagine the ship, literally the ship. So it's safe when it is in harbor, right? It's safe. It's not in danger for waves or for anything else. But here's what really triggers the guilt. That is not what ships are built for. See? So imagine that if that ship will be just there for the safety for how many days without being used, then it's not that useful, right? So what I'm trying to interpret here is that we are also like that. We were not built to be just as we are. We were built to become someone else, someone greater, someone better, and someone more beneficial to our society. Right? Next we have June. So June, look at my notes. There's so many things there. For June, the quotation is, every day may not be good, but there's something good in every day. Even a non-working clock shows right time twice a day. If I would reflect here, it also manifested in me this year. Not all of my days were good. There were days that were not really that good. There were days wherein I would be very happy, I would be very energetic, I would be jolly, and I'm into conversations with people, or I can accommodate as many visitors as I can. But there were also days wherein all of those positive attitudes that I have were gone. So I would just isolate myself and enjoy the solitude, reflect, and keep those things in my head going and processing those and such things. So this is true. Every day may not be good, but there's something good in every day. Now let's proceed to July. Oh my gosh. for July. This was one of the toughest months that I had. So during this month, I hosted the baccalaureate services during the graduation ceremony. And I was also a presenter at the conference. So imagine the gap between hosting a major event and then presenting your research in a conference, and then after that another big event. So I was always put into such scenarios this year. Now it says here, happiness is an attitude. We either make ourselves miserable or happy and strong. The amount of work is the same. Oh my goodness, it's really beautiful. It tells us that either we become miserable, which is a negative way, or we become happy, which is positive. The amount of work is the same. So which would you rather be? Let's just be happy, right? But of course, as a human being, I'm not that consistent with my emotions. I'm not always happy or strong. So yes, let's just agree to that quotation. And then August. There we have August. Look at it. It's full of writings. Then September, I have another inserted pieces of papers here. I have also included here my teaching load. So every semester, if I am given my teaching load for the semester, I would insert it here in my planner because it's part of my plan for the everyday. Because every semester, of course, I have a new schedule, new subjects. Then, I cannot memorize the schedule right away. For the first week, no, I cannot memorize that. For the second week, no, I cannot. Even for the whole month, sometimes I would still be confused. What is my first subject? What section is this? What group of students are these? So I always look at the teaching load that I have placed in my planner. So for example, here I have this subject which is 3 to 4 p.m. and there's a day, there's a room, there's a section, so I will not be confused. So that before I go to that particular schedule, I would be prepared mentally that I'm meeting this group of students and not the other section. And this is the class for this subject and not for the other subject. Those things, you see? That's why planner is really helpful here. And then, look at this one. Pages by pages. It's full of writings. It's like I'm writing a diary, but actually it's not a diary. It's just minutes of the meetings, or during meetings I would just write things. For example, here I have to upload a list of documents, and then I have to communicate with this colleague. I have to provide this document, so on and so forth. Yes, that's how busy I was this year. Next, October. It says here, the more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in life to celebrate or cherish about. Right. And look at how big the inserted piece of paper this time. It's a whole paper. That's how serious the plans can go on. So this is actually a rough draft of the plan. This was actually about a certain production that we were planning. Now, during this initial meeting, we did not yet have a concrete plan as to how to execute the music video. Who will be the characters? Who will be the actors? What will be the story? Who will be the first one to appear? And that's why during the meeting, I will just write things. And then after that meeting, I did not anymore rewrite because most of the time, how I wrote it the first time is how I would remember it well. Rewriting it would lead me to changing things in my memory. So that's why sometimes the first time that I wrote it, it's as it is, because that's how I would remember it. See? And I have to, of course, insert it in my planner just so not to forget all of the things that we have talked about during that meeting. That's how important the words, the ideas that we have convened during such gatherings. And then November, it says here, let your unique awesomeness and positive energy inspire courage and confidence in others. Now, this reminds me now, or it makes me reflect whether I was able to inspire others with confidence and courage, because sometimes or oftentimes this year, even I myself have not felt that confident at all. So with that, I don't know yet if I was able to inspire others. Then, of course, for December, it says here, if you want light to come into your life, you need to stand where it is shining. Now, that's a little bit tricky. I have to interpret it further. I'm trying to locate in my mind where do I need to stand so that there is shine in it. And then there's another quotation here. It says, we can let circumstances rule us, or we can take charge and rule our lives within. Now, this one is something that I can very much relate to for this year. Because let me share with you with what circumstances I have experienced this year. If I would be to summarize the circumstances that I have experienced this year, I would say it's really, really heavy. There were things that I have decided on my own, and some of those things were somehow not fit into the social norms. And because of such decisions, sometimes I would feel the coldness in the ambience of the people around me. Now, I also have lost people. I have lost some of the people that I really love, some of the people that I really wanted to keep in life, but things happen. I realized that we just have to accept however it will unfold. We're not God. We cannot really design, or we cannot really say it has to be like this. The least thing that we can do is to just want it, work hard for it, go for it, and if nothing happens, then let's just keep moving forward. That's it. Now, it says here, we can let circumstances rule us. In that aspect, if I were to allow the heavy circumstances that I have experienced this year, I would say I did not anymore continue. I did not anymore go on. But I suffered alone. I struggled alone. I fought the silent battles alone. And each day I gambled. Each day I did my best to survive, to try to fix things even though they seem to be impossible from my end. But these things were not seen, of course. These were just from my end. These were just from my personal spaces and perspectives. I don't know how people were able to see me, but there were struggles from my end. Now, it says here, or we can take charge and rule our lives from within. So that's what I have always been trying to do this year. I was always trying to take charge of my emotions, my thoughts, trying to process everything that I receive, no matter how good or bad it is. I was trying to moderate things, neutralize things, and just survive. Just survive. Keep surviving. That's all. And here, we have arrived to December, and there are still so many write-ups, list of things, contacts, contact numbers, and more contact numbers. And look at this. Found this drawings of my sons randomly. My sons love to draw, and when they find my thing, sometimes they would also draw on it. And that's how this planner served me this year. Now, I will be saying goodbye to this planner, but saying goodbye doesn't mean that I would throw this. I collect my planners. Actually, I have already collected every year the planners that I had, because I still look for things, just like how we research from books. That's what I also do with my planners. I look up for certain things from my previous planners. So, saying goodbye to a planner doesn't mean that I'm throwing it away. It means I'm keeping it in my collection of planners. And I'm planning to buy a new one. Actually, right now, I'm thinking of what colors, what designs would I pick. But it will be still the same. I prefer to have a bigger planner like this one, this size, not the smaller version, and also the thick one like this, because I like to write things up. It's not really about writing diary, but it's more on the important details. I think that's what work made me. I became more realistic, more practical, more into the details. And sometimes, it disappoints me or frustrates me if there are people who would tell me things. For example, we have to go to that event, and they would end with that. There's no complete detail like what time, what to wear, what is it about. I became really, really disappointed with that, because I'm used to always completing the details because of how I write things in my planner. So that's it. I just wanted to share how a companion became very helpful and effective to me. And that companion is the planner. Have a good day.